Loneliness drives him upward, not for glory, but to outrun despair. One man, one rope, no net. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spiraken Manga Review. I'm your host Zan, saying konnichiwa, aloha, bonjour, and what's up? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're excited for another fun episode of this awesome podcast you can find at www.spiraken.com. Also on YouTube, Spotify, Stitcher, and various other social media sites. Just type in SPIRAKN. I'll guarantee you find us one way or the other. And to top it off, if you are watching on YouTube, remember to like, share, subscribe, and as always, click on that bell for notification when we release new episodes. And with that in mind, let's actually get to it, because for this 588th episode, we're going to be talking about a manga that is an adaptation of a very famous novel in Japan that is set in the late Heisei era between 1929 to 1989. And what is this manga that we're talking about? Well, if you remember from the last episode, I spun that one, not only the Wheel of Manga, and it took time to be reviewing The Climber, art by Shinichi Sakamoto and based on the novel by Jiro Nitta. The story by Toshio, Nabeda, and Hiroshi Takano. One did part one, one did part two, because this is broken up into two parts, even though there's 14 volumes. And this is the story of one young man's attempt to overcome depression by fixating on a new hobby. And what hobby am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about mountain climbing. And this is a story of the young man known as Buntaro Mori. He is a recent transferred student to his new school with a mysterious past. What happened? Well, I'm not going to spoil what happened, but he is a little bit abrasive and a little unusual. When he first gets in the class, he ends up being sat next to this kind of alpha male jerk in the class, Miyamoto. And Miyamoto is kind of a prick who's like, oh, you're the new guy? Hey, what's up? Oh, you're not going to listen to me? Fine, I'm going to grab your arm and pinch you, because Miyamoto is a climbing nerd. He loves climbing. He loves dealing with that. And that's his whole shtick. And he loves that. So what he's going to do is he's going to torch the new guy. But Mori's not going to take that. So he ends up just saying, get away from me. Stop grabbing me. We're not dealing with this. And he runs off. So after this kid disappears for a period, Miyamoto decides, you know what? I was an asshole. Let me try to make it up to him. Where could this guy be? Oh, he's on the roof of the school? I know what I'm going to do. So Miyamoto and his friend end up saying they got to take a shit. And they end up scaring Mori and say, listen. He's like, how the hell did you get up there? He just pops up over the top of the roof. He's like, I climbed up. I'll make a deal with you. I won't bully you. I will leave you alone because you're kind of being a jerk, but I'll leave you alone if you do one simple thing. One super easy thing. Climb up the side of the building and I'll leave you alone. And because Mori does not want to deal with this, he does not want anyone to bother him, he's like, fine, if you're going to leave me alone, I will climb all the way up, no problem at all. And I don't need any help. And he ends up starting to climb up the side of the building, which kind of scares everybody because a lot of teachers are like, yeah, this kid disappeared. He's kind of a problem student. We don't know what's going on. He's like, wait, what are you doing? And he's literally climbing up the building. Now, earlier, Miyamoto climbed up with ropes and carabiners and other things. This is Mori just climbing straight up a pipe. He's climbing the side of the building, kind of freaking everybody out and getting tired. And Miyamoto is just watching him climb. He's like, listen, you can't do this. Here's what you got to do. You do a knife jab. Like, what's a knife jab? It's pretty much taking your hand and jabbing it somewhere to kind of gain some momentum and some pressure so you can rest your hand. Otherwise, you're going to hurt yourself. And Mori listens to this, but he's like, leave me alone, I don't need your help. He's going to climb this huge thing. And as he's going up higher and higher, he's kind of nervous, but he's enjoying it. It's taking his mind off of stuff. All the crap that's going on that we can't really talk about. And he ends up pumping his way up and up and up. And he's determined to do this. And he ends up doing things that no one expects, like doing a leg splint so it catches him, so he's able to wedge himself. He goes further up. He's trying to go up, and everyone's shocked. The school's freaking out because there's a kid climbing the building, and he doesn't have any harness. He doesn't have a rope around him, and if he falls, he's dead, or he's going to break his back. Best case scenario. And they're all freaking out. They're watching him, but this guy is climbing up and climbing up. And his new homeroom teacher, who discovered about him, is a climbing enthusiast. And he's marveling at this kid's tenacity. And this kid is pretty badass. This is kind of impressive and stressful as they're going up. And eventually, after doing a huge lunge, which is super dangerous without a rope, do not try this at home, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's really rough. He ends up grabbing the end of the building and pulling himself to the top. But as he's at the top, he feels alive for the first time. That moment when his hand grabs the top of the building, it sends a shock down his arm. And it's like, oh my God, you're feeling alive. It's the first moment. He's not thinking about any of this stuff, any of the issues. And so his new teacher pretty much goes up to him, yells at him, and says, what the hell were you doing? What's wrong with you? Well, how about this? You thought that was good? See that over there? I'll make you feel even better. That moment is great. Join the club. We'll teach you how to climb, and you'll learn about it. And he shows him this far-off mountain and says, that mountain's the one you're going to want to climb. Come with me, I'll show you how to do it. And he ends up learning about the climbing world in this and wanting to get further into it because he loves the view and he loves this feeling of climbing. However, he doesn't want to listen to anybody else. So they end up trying to teach him. He's like, I don't need your help. I can do this alone. Like the first time he tries climbing the mountain with no gear, falls down, is knocked unconscious, and someone says, what the hell's wrong with you? You're going to die doing this. And it turns out this is an actual phenomena in climbing culture. It's called the solo climber. These are individuals who do it by themselves. They don't want help. And they love the determination behind it. But this is also kind of a nihilistic view on things. They want to be the best they can be. And they live for that intensity to defeat the climb, no matter what. And this is the origin of a climber who's a solo climber, who everyone else is like, what is wrong with you? Why are you doing this? While they're trying their best. And he's inspiring people. Miyamoto ends up becoming his friend, but more importantly, he pushes Miyamoto forward. He studies and he ends up taking a bunch of exams to learn it because he wants to beat this first mountain. And then there's another mountain he wants to beat, another. And he ends up pushing himself forward. And this is the story of Mori getting to this point. There's more going on. There's a lot more, but I don't want to spoil it because this is a story of someone who is trying to overcome a tragic past by doing that, by doing something. And Takatori Rock, which is the one he's trying to cover, is this super dangerous past, and he wants to beat it. And where it opens up, we see him as an adult at K2, Mount Kilimanjaro, one of the biggest mountains in the world. And it's a very dangerous pass if you do it alone. He's doing it alone because you need a support system. You need people to hold onto your ropes, oxygen, food. If it's just you only can carry a finite amount, and this could lead to problems. What happens if you break your leg on a mountain? You're going to die up there. What happens if you get frostbite? You'll lose fingers and toes. But this is the life of a solo climber. And that's what this story is about. This is the story of someone who wants to climb, who finds it addictive and finds a new hobby. Last episode, I talked about the 4 genres of manga that I've kind of determined. And this is definitely kind of between the two of the natural, which is the accidental prodigy stumbles into the sport and finds their innate talent in it. And this is also a little bit of Spokon, the sports kanjo mix. That is that situation where it's the person has a tragic past and they're going to get to the top through their sheer grit, even if it kills them. Like a Shido no Joe. This is a mixture of these two concepts in this story. And it is one which is very harsh, very hard. It's very dark. Not dark, there's a lot going on. By the end of the first volume, we find out a lot about what happened to Mori, and it hints at more going on. And we also see more of climbing culture, learn more about carabiners, more about the fact that when you're climbing, you should have shoes that are one size smaller so you can grip your toes because your feet will naturally curve and you'll get more pressure on them. It's kind of fascinating in that sort of way. Here's the thing I will say about it. The opening is rough. It's not the best opening. Not at all. It's one of those ones where the first chapter you despise Mori. You think he's just a piece of garbage that you don't want to talk to, you don't want to deal with, you don't want anything to do with. And that's kind of a problem because he's kind of an antagonistic main character. When we learn more about him, we get further on because he has a lot of guilt. But despite that, it is a fascinating story as it goes on, and we learn more about it. We see him striving, and there's only one route for him to go. Either he's going to die horribly doing this sport, or he's going to succeed and excel. Throw in a bunch of reporters who are assholes who are trying to be like, hey, we'll make you like the next Bear Grylls, where you'll be a survivalist and we'll take video of you, and then hopefully we'll take a video of you dying. It's like, they don't say that, but they're like hinting that they want to see his tragic origin as he goes more and more crazy because he's such an interesting climber. But this is that story. It's based on a novel that's set in Heisei period when the climbing just started. The manga is fascinating. The artwork is compelling. It is, as I showed you before, it does look beautiful. And also the manga has actual climber glossary, which explains a lot of things like hand jams, mantling, overhang, free soloing, the route you take, which is the path, carabiners on site, and then actually an interview with a man who changed climbing history and the greatest free climber, Yuji Harayama. It gets into the concept of this story because this story has influenced so many people, the original source material. Anyway, how are the side characters? You have Miyamoto, he is a piece of garbage. You have the teacher, who is interesting, but he's like, it's not really, he's trying to be there for this guy who doesn't want help. And he's learning a little bit, he's initiating a little bit, but then it feels like Mori's not, it's not going to go anywhere with Mori. He might get that character growth, but I don't think he's going to. I digress. I'm looping. So, story is great. The source material is exceptional. The main character is a piece of shit. And either you're going to love him or you're going to hate him. If you're a sports manga fan, you're going to love this. If you're someone who likes action, you will actually find this fascinating. If you don't like bad antagonism or the potentiality of death, this might not be for you. Because like I said, this is a very dangerous sport. This is not one where it's like, oh, you won't get hurt. It's like in boxing, do you have the inherent risk of you're going to, you get brain damage, worst case scenario, or you'll get killed in that. But it's like generally you won't. You have less of a chance of dying in boxing than you do in mountain climbing. Mountain climbing, there are people who've frozen to death on mountains. There's people who have like just one mistake, you will fall down and die. Like all those sequences of people climbing like Devil Rock in Utah. It's fascinating and wonderful, and you get that super adrenaline high. But it's skydiving. It's that skydiving element. Is the adrenaline worth the risk? That high worth the risk. That is what this is. The story is that. And for that reason, I have to give this our second highest rating, actually, of Bar for Friend and Don't Return Unless Offered Pocky. It's an inspiring sports manga based on this really popular novel that's ever released in the United States. It's artistic with great backgrounds. The images of the mountains are amazing. The characters kind of look generic, and the background characters, they do kind of fade away. But you do have our main character who they draw him well, especially later on in the manga. Like I saw this in later volumes, he looks so realistic. It looks like art paintings. Like that opening image on the cover, this image is like the best artwork. So the art is great. It does take a while to get going. That first chapter, when I first read this, I actually put this manga down and ended up reading a different manga I bought, an entire like 3 volumes. Then I went back to this. This is one of those ones where the first volume is going to jar you. You're going to want to put it down because either you're going to hate it or not think it's bad. But then once you get back into it, it's going to be full speed ahead. You're going to keep going. And that's one of the best parts about this. But it does that. Also, like I said, Buntaro Mori, he is a unlikable main character. He's someone who's an asshole. He's someone who's antagonistic. And we do get in his head. We do see him like say, oh, well, I just want to be alone because everything I turn turns to shit. And we get that. But he is an asshole. And I don't know. Like, he gets better, but it's still kind of, I don't know, I'm babbling. Like, the reason why he feels very similar to Joe from Ashina no Joe, where he's this character who's kind of has a chip on his shoulder. But the difference is that Joe, he's a con artist, he's a piece of shit, but he's charismatic. This is someone who isn't charismatic. He's someone who's mean-spirited. He's just depressed. He's sullen. He's dealing with a lot of shit. Don't get me wrong. What happened to him, I don't deny that he deserves the depression, but it just I couldn't grasp him until way later on. But if you agree with me or you disagree with me, you can email me personally at Zan, that's Xan, at Spiraken.com, or tweet me at Spiraken. Let me know your thoughts on this. And with this in mind, let's actually get to the manga releases for the week, because we've got a lot. There's actually over 80. So let's do it, shall we? So starting off for this week, we've got Seven Fates Choco, Volume 7. The 31st Consort, Volume 1. Agents of the Four Seasons, Volume 2, or 11. Ajin Demi-Human, Complete Omnibus, Number 3. Apocalypse Bringer Mayogura, Volume 3. Associate Professor Akira Taksu's Conjecture, Volume 6. This is the final volume. Banished from the Hero Party, I Decide to Live a Quiet Life in the Countryside, Volume 10. Be My Worst Nightmare, Volume 2. Beware the Villainous, Volume 3 light novel. Black Knight Parade, Volume 6. Blends, Volume 2. The Blue Lock Coloring Book. Yes, it's official. There is a coloring book for this series. The Blue Wolves of Mibu, Volume 5. More with the Shinzengumi. Bochi the Rock Side Story. Kikuri Hero's Heavy Drinking Diary, Volume 1. This gets into her whole backstory. The Boxer, Volume 10. Boys Abyss, Volume 9. Brunhilde the Dragon Slayer, Volume 2. Bungo Stray Dogs, the official comic anthology, Volume 3. The Case Study of Vanitas, Volume 11. Chain Soldier, Volume 11. Creature Girls, A Hands-On Field Journal in Another World, Volume 12. The Dark History of the Reincarnated Villainess, Volume 12. Days with My Stepsister, Volume 3. Do You Like Big Girls? The Thick Edition, Volume 5 to 6. Dr. Moshirito's Ultimate Manga Techniques. This is a guide on how to be amazing at manga. Drugstore in Another World, The Slow Life of a Cheat Pharmacist, manga number 10. The Eminence in Shadow, light novel number 12. Gachakuda, Volume 6. Game of Familia, Volume 6. Gravitation, Collector's Edition, Volume 5. This is the last edition. Headhunted to Another World, From Salaryman to Big 4, Volume 8. Hellsing, 2nd Edition, Volume 10. I picked up the World Strategy Guide, Volume 2. I Want a Gal Gamer to Praise Me, Volume 4. I'm Quitting Heroing, Volume 5. This is a light novel. If the Villainous and Villain Met and Fell in Love, Volume 3. In Another World, My Smartphone, Volume 14. Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Familia Chronicles Freya, Volume 5. This is the final edition. Itowan Class, Volume 5. The Kingdoms of Ruin, Volume 10. Kin Portia light novel, Volume 3. Lady Devils, Volume 1. Loverboy, Volume 1. Martial Master Asumi, Volumes 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the entire series, all released digitally. Minato Laundromat, Volume 5. Momo, Volume 2. My instant death ability is so overpowered, no one in this other world stands a chance against me, Volume 8. This is where I get more into the backstory of the Eldritch creature. This is the manga. My Oh My Atumikun, Volume 2. Nights with a Cat, Volume 5. No Longer Heroine, Volume 9. The One Piece Heroine's Novel, Volume 1. Overgeared, Volume 7. The Reformation of the World as Overseen by a Realistic Demon King, Volume 6. Reincarnated as a Sword, manga number 14. Reincarnated into a Game as a Hero's Friend, light novel 4. Reincarnation Coliseum, Volume 1. This is a crazy series. Rent a Girlfriend, light novel 30. Saving 80,000 gold in another world for my retirement, Volume 10. See you in my 19th life, Volume 6. Senpai, this can't be love. Brush it off. Shangri-La Frontier, Volume 16. Skeleton Knight in Another World, the manga, Volume 11. Someone's Girlfriend, Volume 3. Spy Classroom, Volume 1. Second Period, Daughter Dearest. SSS Class Revival Hunter, Volume 3. Star Wars The High Republic, The Edge of Balance, Volume 4. Stomp Kick Love, Volume 2. Sword Art Online Re-Enarad, Volume 3. Tamaki and Amane. This is the new joint by Fumi Yoshinaga. The Teen Exorcist, Volume 2. Tiger and Dragon, Volume 3. To Serve Without Love, I'm Divorcing You, Volume 1. To Your Eternity, Volume 22. Toxic Daughter Chi-chan. I think this is a one-shot. Toxic Super Beasts, Volume 1. The Vampire and His Pleasant Companions, Volume 6. Virgin Marriage, Volume 1. The War of Greedy Witches, this is Volume 2. Wash It All Away, Volume 1. With You, Our Love Will Make It Through, Volume 2. The World's Strongest Rearguard, Labyrinth Country's Nova Seeker, Volume 8. The World's Fastest Level Up, the manga, Volume 5. Yes, No, and Maybe, Volume 2. Your Lie in April, Omnibus 4, which is volumes 10 through 11. And finally, last but not least, we've got Urblatt Deluxe Edition, Volume 2. This is the hardcover. It's the only way it's being released. So these are the manga releases for the week. We've got some great ones, some weird ones. A lot of Volume 11s for some weird reason. But we've got some great stuff in here. And for me, my top 5 for the week are going to be the Blue Lock coloring book, because coloring books are fun, and more importantly, it's about Blue Lock. Martial Master Asumi Volume 1. This series looked kind of fascinating, and also you get all of it for one price, which isn't bad. Reincarnation Coliseum. It is a weird and very ecchi manga, but it's kind of intriguing in the concept. Don't hate it too much. A little bit, but not too much. Then we have Toxic Super Beasts, Volume 1. This is Giant Monsters. And last but not least, we have Wash It All Away, Volume 1. So these are the manga releases for the week. And let me know your thoughts on which one you liked the best or the worst. Email me at zanspiraken.com or tweet me at Spiraken. Let me know your thoughts. And before we go any further, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for every email I get, every new subscriber, every new view, and every new comment. It gives me more motivation to keep doing this podcast, and I love doing this, so thank you so much. Our GoFundMe is about to end in about 3 weeks, so if you want to still donate, definitely check us out at tinyurl.com/Spiraken or Spiraken.com or GoDaddy.com/Spiraken. Donate to our GoFundMe so we can help keep these lights on. And more importantly, regardless, just tell people about it and tell people about this podcast, because I love doing this. I want to do this till I'm an old man who reads manga with thick glasses and large print manga. So thank you all very much. And finally, one last update, one last note. I've heard back from Animazement for 3 panels. I don't know about the rest. They may be waitlisted, they may be denied, but 3 panels have been accepted. We've got, starting off, everyone's favorite, the Horror and Anime Manga 2025. This year has been kind of light on horror, so I've done something a little bit different. We're going to see. Second, Happy Ever After, Marriage and Anime Manga. This is going to be a lot of fun because we've got a lot of unique characters. And last and certainly not least, we have I'm Still Not Old, 30 new characters over the age of 30. And we've got some really deep cuts in this one, so definitely worth checking out. Also, I am going to be doing a live stream for one of the other panels. I left a post on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/@Spiraken if you want to vote for which of the panels you want me to do. There are some really fun ones, some really weird ones. I think the one that I'm still working on is the Real House Parents of Anime, which is the best and worst parents there is. And the other ones, well, you have to wait and see. check out the poll. But with that in mind, let's actually get to the part that you've all been waiting for, the most popular part of this podcast. And what are we talking about? We are talking about that one, that only, the Wheel of Manga! Yes, friends, the Wheel of Manga, except no substitute. Now, what is the Wheel of Manga? The Wheel of Manga is a Wheel of Fortune with 10 slots on it. What I've done is I've assigned a manga title to each of the 10 slots. What we're going to do is we're going to spin the wheel. Whatever number it lands on, the manga that's in that spot, so what I'm going to review in the next episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, episode 589, 11 to episode 600. So let's spin, see what we're going to review in the next episode, shall we? Number 5, Kingyo's Used Books. This is a book manga series. I remember talking about this a while ago, but should be interesting. We're going to see how it goes. Kind of excited for that. But anyway, I digress. So again, number 5. And as usual, hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what your thoughts about the climber are and about the new panels in the comments down below, or send me an email, zan@spiraken.com. Check out our website, www.spiraken.com. Hope you enjoyed this. I am your host, Zan. I'm Gonzville. Catch you guys next time, and keep reading manga. See you later.